Ark the Lad. Ark the Lad was a franchise of strategy RPGs that started back at the mid-90s. And I wouldn't say it's very historically important, but it's important nonetheless because it's history. History for us JRP gamers who just love these kinds of games, who love these kinds of franchises that are now dead. Yeah, I say dead, quotation, because, well, you're about to find out. And I usually start showing a game that I own of each franchises, maybe all, maybe some of them. But Ark the Lad, I have nothing. I used to own Ark the Lad 4 and 5, both with PlayStation 2. But they're lost now, man. I had to sell them. You already know why, probably. But in any case, I have nothing to make a joke for now. But in any case, let's just begin. Let's start talking about a franchise that initially, and for a long period of time, was released Ark the Lad started as a strategy RPG in 1995 for the PlayStation, developed by company G-Craft, which had been founded by producer Yoshiro Tsushida, a former employee of Masaya Games who left to create his own company. After developing Front Mission, his first tactical RPG, along with his team, he then produced the first Ark the Lad. The game was successful in Japan, reaching fast sales and satisfying the producers and the publishing company, Sony. It was a simple strategy RPG with an amazing soundtrack and a well-constructed story and well-developed characters. The only downfall it had, criticism that was later taken into consideration, was that the game was too short. You could easily beat it around 10 hours or so, and for a strategy RPG from the mid-90s, that was indeed too short. But in any case, the game succeeded, and it quickly spawned a sequel the following year, in 1996. This is where the series got mainstream success, but also where things started going shady. The first game had been developed by G-Craft, but now it was by Arc Entertainment. Were they the same people? Had they changed their name? No. It was a different company with some of the original staff involved. But the thing is, it was a different name. However, that didn't matter since the game was very successful, even more than its predecessor, being a direct sequel of it with longer gameplay, free movement around towns, and a more diverse cast of characters involving the ones, of course, from the first game. The success of this game spawned an anime with 26 episodes that was broadcasted in 1999, also a manga and a light novel. It even spawned 2 spin-offs, one called Monster Game with Casino Game, later to be known as Ark Arena Monster Tournament, in which you could carry over the monsters from Ark the Lad 2 and fight them in the arena. It's pretty fun if you're into the series, especially the first 2 games, but it's just a spin-off made to exploit the battle system. Now, the second spin-off was released for the WonderSwan Color in 2002 called Kijin Fukatsu, translated as Resurrection of the Machine God. It was developed by Bandai, by the way, not by G-Craft nor by Arc Entertainment anymore. Very similar to the second main game in the series, and also fun to play. But sadly, this game was never released outside Japan. Never. Now let's go back a little. Following the success of the second game and its hype all around the anime and its first spin-off, Sony then published Ark the Lad 3 in 1999. The story was now slightly alienated from the previous games, but still connected to them. You now played as 2 kids who want to be hunters. So it was a quest-driven game, very slow, drawn out, and with a battle system that was, well, still tactical in squares, but now you could move even more freely than before. It wasn't as successful as its predecessors, but it was still met with some positive feedback. It's a good game. After that, however, the franchise temporarily vanished. In 1997, Squaresoft bought G-Craft, pretty much along with its series creator. He then went to work on the battle system for Final Fantasy X. My question is, was this guy even involved in Arc the Lad 2 and 3? What happened to Arc Entertainment? They went to work on other games, that's what happened. So, was Arc the Lad dead? With so many fans in Japan, an anime, a manga, and 3 good games? 2002 again. The Wonder Swan game had recently been released and no one gave a damn. After years of begging Sony to let them localize the 3 games to North America, Working Designs finally got the rights that very same year for every single Arc the Lad title, with the exception of the Wonder Swan one. So we finally met Arc the Lad in this collection. It included the first 3 games and the Monster Tournament spin-off. They probably never thought that this big box with 5 discs was going to be, well, more expensive to make, therefore more expensive to the market. But hey, at least we had finally got it, all thanks to Working Designs, which went bankrupt 3 years later. Anyway, that didn't matter much since Sony of America had seen with its own eyes that the series had been very successful and response from gamers and critics was high. So Sony got themselves a new development team called Cattle Call the next year, in 2003, to revive the series and make a 4th game, Twilight of the Spirits. It was the very first time Europe will actually meet an Arc the Lad game. It wasn't exactly a success at first, average reviews were there, major complaints about the gameplay and battle system being now very different happened, but over time, other people stood up for it, like me, defending the story, the music, and yes, the battle system. To date, it is considered by many as a very good, underrated game, probably one of the best in the series. On a side, personal note, I thought the story was awesome because it focused on the hatred between humans and demons, which pretty much compares to racial hatred in reality. Okay, so the game had been slightly successful, but it just wasn't enough. Sony knew they needed something new, something fresh. They couldn't just let this awesome franchise die just yet. So in 2004, Japan met the worst Arc the Lad ever made and one of the worst JRPGs for the PS2. End of Darkness. But nah, Sony of America wanted no part of this anymore, so they withdrew. Sony in Japan published it there, but it was Namco who sacrificed itself to bring it to North America in 2005. Europe didn't see a release. It was now an action role-playing game, still connected to all its predecessors, but in a very ambiguous way. The real objective, however, was to make it as an online game, since it was a thing back then, around 15 years ago. Many franchises had succeeded, so why not try with Arc the Lad? It was going to be awesome, right? And people were going to love it, right? Yeah, let's do it! It will succeed. Yeah, it didn't. So here's my theory on what the hell happened to Arc the Lad. First of all, End of Darkness was obviously very unsuccessful. So unsuccessful, the servers died within a year. Second, even though I loved Twilight of the Spirits, it disappointed a lot of people back then when it first came out. New developers, different publishers getting involved, changing names, trying to reboot the series. This franchise is a damn mess! And it's so hard to find something consistent on the internet about all the small details that contributed to its demise. Wait a minute. Demise? No, not yet, it seems. Not yet. In 2016, Sony announced Arc the Lad R for motherfucking fucking mobile phones. It is supposed to be released this year by Forward Works, and yes, there's a trailer that shows graphics, characters, music, gameplay, and everything you need to know about the new Ark the Lad. The series' original creator is involved, by the way, so it might stay true to the first games. But the thing here is, we all know what's gonna happen. We saw what happened with Valkyrie Profile and Breath of Fire. They went to mobile phones only in Japan! So, will we get this? Probably not. Wanna know why? Well, because Ark the Lad was never a truly successful series outside Japan to begin with. You know, people actually loved Ark the Lad collection outside Japan. Yes, but it was released very late for the PS1 when the PS2 was already dominating the gaming industry all around the world. I mean, how many people, without resorting to piracy or emulators throughout the years, managed to get their hands on this collection? I know for a fact that many people outside Japan played Twilight of the Spirits, but most people didn't even know where it had come from. End of Darkness was a failure, so the franchise was obviously going to die. There wasn't any salvation at all to begin with. But anyways, this franchise left a big amount of fans still craving for a new game, for a decent return, mobile or not, and it will definitely be remembered as one of all-time classic strategy RPG series. But this is only my opinion, remember, my theory as to why everything failed, my thoughts on what the hell happened to Ark the Lad. That's it guys, that's what in my opinion happened to Ark the Lad. Don't forget, like always, to share your opinion on this video, to share your own theory, to share your own investigation, your own research, everything regarding this fantastic franchise that is now, okay, not dead, but maybe dead for the rest of the world. We're just gonna have to find out someday. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time.